Hello, everybody. Welcome to my review for the first episode of season 4 of Fear the Walking Dead season premiere, which was titled What's Your Story? Now, as we all know, that's kind of an obvious reason why it's that title. It's the whole journalism thing with Althea, played by Maggie Grace, who anybody who's seen Taken movies is aware. She played Liam Neeson's daughter in it. So it's nice to see, really some new, fresh faces to this show, in addition to not just Morgan crossing over now. Now we have Althea, we have John Dory, who is this new character played by Garrett Dillahunt. Very like a westerny cowboy type, feel about him. So I like that. That's a totally new aspect, different, unique. And then also coming in episode 2, I'll be talking a little bit about that later on. But we have Jenna Elfman's character. Her name is Naomi. So new characters so far that we've seen: John, Al, and Morgan. Yes, Morgan's not new to us, but he's new to Fear, so I lump him in that category as well. Okay, so I liked this premiere. I especially loved how it piggybacked right from The Walking Dead. We see Morgan is at the heap area. He left. He stayed there after Jadis and left, and we're assuming went to join Rick's group, probably at the hilltop. I want to say for right now they're probably going to be rebuilding Alexandria, but they might be at Alexandria. The whole thing wasn't completely destroyed, so we'll see that season 9, I'm sure. So it should be interesting. But okay, so this episode opens John's little monologue. He's in a field at night by himself, by his truck, and he hears a noise, and he just starts talking. I'm not gonna start. I'm not gonna go over his whole monologue, but he's talking. Walker comes out of the woods, and he shoots it. And who's behind him? Our good buddy Morgan. So Morgan is in Texas now, because that's where Fear is taking place currently. And then we cut. They don't have any conversation there at that point, but they cut to credits. Come back from the credits. We have Morgan still at the heap, and he gets visited by 3 individuals from each sort of representing pretty much each community. We have Jesus from the hilltop, who I love his what he says in it, and it just stuck in my head. It's like, don't open the door if you're gonna hit me with the stick. I thought that was rather hilarious. And then Jesus sort of wants to continue their acquaintance, basically continue their relationship with each other. Basically trying to convince him to come back. And then, a short while later, we have Carol coming in from the kingdom, saying that she knows who he is and that basically should come back. And of course, he doesn't. And then Rick, obviously representing Alexandria, comes in, with a very, very nostalgic feel from that. Very much a callback to the pilot episode with Morgan and Rick. Rick brought up that Morgan indirectly saved all these people. Everybody that Rick has had an impact on throughout the first 8 seasons of this show has been a result of Morgan saving him in that very first episode. So with that, Morgan committing that simple act of kindness to Rick, you know, things in the show would have no doubtedly turned out quite a bit differently. It's something I never really think about that, but watching that exchange between these two friends and allies, that yeah, Rick's right. Morgan saved him in that moment, and Rick was able to go on from that and save other people, help other people out. I'm not going to name every instance, and of course there's good, there's bad. Rick hasn't always done the right thing, made the right call, but more often than not, he gets the job done when he needs to, and people are alive because of it. Now, we know as an audience that Morgan is not going to stay there. He is going to leave. But it's nice to see that they're trying to get him to come back and that he shouldn't be alone. But, also we're thinking, not really sure how long he's been there. He's been there quite enough, a decent amount of time, roughly. He's growing food there. He spent some decent amount of time there, but so after that, he leaves. He's done. He's out. He takes his stuff and he leaves, and he just keeps going. He wires a car. When it runs out of gas, he keeps going. He comes across this man in a car who I'm presuming was bit. He's suffering. It looks like he has a fever. His legs badly infected. He might not have gotten bit. He might have gotten injured by something. But I'm pretty sure he was bit. And Morgan tries to help him. The guy basically says, "Leave and close the door." He doesn't want help. So Morgan takes what was it? Rubbing alcohol or something, whatever he put on, and he leaves. And as he's walking, he sees people, but he keeps going. But then at nighttime, he hears John talking, and he sees the walker heading towards that area. So he goes and he's about to stab said walker with the spear, but right when John shoots him, and that's right where the intro left off. They start talking. John gives all his whole spiel about this gun that he has. Have you seen anyone with it? Morgan said no. And John offers him to stay the night. Morgan gets in the back of the truck, but then leaves anyway, and then he tries to go into this camp. He's getting ready to hunker down for the night. It's a rookie mistake. I wasn't expecting Morgan to make this kind of a mistake, but it was very evident that people were there, lights were on, and he's just casually putting his stuff down as if he's walking into his house. And of course, he gets taken out by Leland, who I must have been running on like hype from the finale and the beginning of Fear that I totally missed this guy's name. But Leland and his men capture Morgan, and then when John I guess John noticed Morgan was gone and came to the rescue, but they have them surrounded until Alec comes in rolling up with her SWAT truck and her it's rigged with machine guns in it that she has a little lever, which I thought was very reminiscent of Land of the Dead. I'm not sure if anybody has seen that movie at this point, but it's a good movie. It's alright. It's not like Night of the Living Dead quality, but it is George Romero. Simon Pegg and Nick Frost from Shaun of the Dead were in it, cameoed as zombies, so it was pretty cool. The premise of it: zombies are basically evolving to the point where they're holding tools, they're using guns, things of that nature. And there's this vehicle in it, this big armored truck vehicle that has machine guns in it and rockets and all this cool stuff. So that's what that reminded me of initially when I saw it. I'm like, it's pretty cool. So Althea saves them from Leland in exchange for them telling their stories. She is a journalist. John agrees. John talks about this woman, Laura, who he's looking for, who they were together for a while, and then something happened, they got separated, and he's looking for her. Morgan just wants to go. He doesn't care. He just wants to keep moving. So Leland and his men eventually track them down to Althea's camp, and then there's a fight. Morgan and John help take out Leland's men. And interestingly enough, Morgan has readopted his "I don't kill" mantra. He was struggling with that in season 8. Not even season 8. Going back to season 7, he had abandoned that once Benjamin was killed, and he's been on a rampage, just killing saviors even when they didn't need to be killed. And now, after Jesus had one little talk with him in the finale, Morgan's all of a sudden no kill again. He's done with it. He's not killing anymore. And we know John doesn't want to kill either. He's a peaceful guy, and he only took part in killing the men that were with Leland because they were bad men, and he recognized that. But, they're very similar now. Morgan's still a little bit unstable, but he seems to have been grounded a little bit more into reality. So I would like to see him cross paths with Rick again at some point. I would like to see that converge. Not going to happen anytime soon. He's just got to fear, so we'll have to wait on that. Possible the shows could very well merge into one at some point, which I'm not going to really go into that too much right now, but that might be pretty cool to see, honestly. But we have to bridge that gap. Fear took a time jump to get to the current timeline where Morgan was able to cross over there and meet up with Madison and them at the end of this episode. So I'm guessing there will be flashbacks and Fear at some point in the season to bridge that gap between where they were at the dam to how they got to Texas, where they are right now. And what happened with Proctor John. I would very much like to see his character explored a little bit more in the future of the show. I would like to see Walker again, even though they've pretty much announced he's at this point not going to be in season 4, which is kind of disappointing. He kind of saved the day in the end of season 3, But I do hope that they do bring him back later on, since he was, sort of a part of the group now. He helped out Madison and them. Despite the rocky start in season 3, they came together. So, anyway, back to episode 401. They're fighting. Leland and Al are fighting by the truck. Leland is trying to get the keys. He wants to steal the truck. Al takes keys, which I didn't know that they were. I didn't hear their chat later on when Leland says that they don't work. I didn't hear that whole. I don't know how I missed it, but she threw the locker keys over just somewhere, and as soon as we saw that rattlesnake, I knew somebody was gonna get bit by it. And at that point, that's pretty much it. I mean, who really has the medicine to treat that at this point? But so Leland gets bit, but he gets the keys and he makes it back to the truck. And Al says, "Oh, these are to my locker." They fight. She gets him out and under the truck, and he's taken out by the walkers. Morgan is going after the sniper, takes a shot to the leg. They fight. Guy goes over. Now here I am thinking, okay, Morgan's gonna just take this guy out and kick him down to the walkers. But he doesn't. He saves him. He picks him up. And of course his man proceeds to attack him again. They fall through the roof, and he gets eaten by walkers anyway. Morgan gets away, gets a grenade. Could be a military base nearby or something, because this guy had grenades. He was dressed in armor. So, pulls a grenade, sticks it to a walker, gets away, and boom. And what else? The grenade. Okay, and Morgan and John are having a little moment they're fighting on top of a car. Morgan has a stick, John's shooting, they're taking out the walkers. Alan's able to get into a truck and mow down the walkers with her machine gun, so that was awesome. Okay, Morgan does eventually tell Al his story. He talks about Alexandria, the war, the kingdom, Ezekiel, talks about Shiva, which of course Al is obviously very enthused with that and wants to hear more about it, especially with Shiva. R.I.P. Shiva. R.I.P. Okay, Morgan leaves. He's injured still. He's using his stick as a cane, and he sees the car that he saw earlier in the episode with the man in the back basically dying, and he starts to move towards it. He sees he's not in it. He keeps going. He sees him in the distance. He sees a guy walking in the distance. And 2 walkers corner him. He falls down. John saves him. Morgan says, "I have to find out, basically about the man," and he puts him down and buries him. Okay, so now 3 of them are back together again. And it's just a side note, just funny how John has all this candy he's just giving out. It's like a Werther's candy he just gives to Al, like, here you go, take some candy. He's a very kind man. I'm very interested in exploring his character a little bit more, and hopefully he'll be around a while. So they're on the road. they see somebody in the road. And of course, both Morgan and John are like, oh, we don't kill, pretty much. She's like, oh, great. Thanks for telling us that now, pretty much. Thanks for, great time to bring that up, fellas. And they walk up to her. Morgan kind of hangs back by the truck a little bit. Surprise, it's Alicia, and it's an ambush. Strand, Luciana, and Nick. Yes, Luciana is back with them now, so when we last saw her in season 3, she was off on her own. She left, and she wasn't in the last half of season 3 at all. So now she's all of a sudden back with them, so I'm assuming that's going to be explored a little bit more as we go along in the season. I'm hoping, anyway. But they capture them, and Al's like, what? So what the hell's your story? So we'll explore that. That will be explored in episode 2, which I will talk a little bit about in the predictions. Also in the predictions, I'm gonna go into a little bit of a spiel on something I think is going to happen in season 9 of The Walking Dead that I didn't get to fully discuss in my review for the finale because I had so much other stuff to discuss. So I'll have that for you in addition to the predictions that will be up shortly after this. Okay, Walker Kill of the Week. It's Al with the machine gun in a truck. 5 is the ending with Strand and company taking them hostage. 4 is Morgan's use of the grenade. 3 is the whole fight sequence with John, Morgan, and Al versus Leland's men. Snake bite, all that was well done. 2 is the beginning with Jesus, Carol, and Rick visiting Morgan, trying to convince him to come back with them. And 1 is Al lighting up the walkers with her machine guns in the truck. So that's going to do it for this video. I'm going to give this episode a 10 out of 10. I thoroughly loved it. I enjoyed it. I'm going to miss Morgan on The Walking Dead for sure, but I'm glad we still have him in Fear. He's not gone. He's still here with us as a, in the collective universe, but I'm excited to see where his journey is going to take him, and maybe we'll see him in The Walking Dead again. Who knows? But I'll see you in my next video coming up shortly. Deuces.